And this time around, we have come to look at so many issues that affect us as the people of this nation. Remember, on the 31st day of July, our president was on the media to speak to Nigerians concerning the hardship being experienced by each and every one of us as a Nigerian. And that is why we have come this morning to really x-ray that speech made by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the 31st day of July 2023. And it may interest you to know that in the studio I've been joined this morning by Iche Mike Odumodu, Management Consultant. You're welcome to the studio, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning, our viewers all over the world.
All right. I don't know what's your reaction when you listened to that speech by the president. You know, a lot of people have criticized the speech. Of course, there must be criticism in everything. You know, some said that the speech came because he didn't want the labor people to go on strike as planned or protest as planned for yesterday, and so many other things. And so many people were saying that there is something they were you know, eager to hear from him, which never came, about building you know, dilapidated refineries and all whatnot. So what's your reaction when you listened to the president's speech?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, so like so many views, you know, I have my own view, you know, personally. The president's speech, it wasn't, it doesn't have much ingredients. You know, it was a kind of storytelling, so to say. It doesn't have much facts, because if you look at it, it's like somebody just reading a script, you know, going through a script, and after reading it, you know, he went away, and they referred to it as an address to the people of Nigeria. So the address wasn't encouraging. It was a storytelling address, so it wasn't in the best interest of the nation.
That's your understanding of the whole speech.
That's my personal understanding. So because there are many things to talk about. Somebody that is just coming into office, you know, barely 2 months, you know, and is coming up to be telling us one story after another, you know. So that is not what Nigerians wanted to hear. We wanted to hear about facts and figures and time frames. That when you are, if from this time to this time, we are expecting to hear this or to see this in Nigeria, and from this time to this time, we are expecting to see this happen in Nigeria. Not about telling us that his predecessor was a good man, you know, handed over to him democratically. These are not what we want to hear now. Or telling us that Nigeria is the most populous nation on earth. You know, these are vulgarities. So he should come to tell. He's supposed to be telling us facts and figures about how to move Nigeria forward. That is exactly what people were out looking to hear, not all those stories he told us.
All right. Now, there is something that he kept hammering on about a few select individuals that were amassing the wealth of subsidy over the years. And most Nigerians were like, you know, does it mean these people are not known? You know, does it mean nothing could be done to them? You know, apart from removing the subsidy to serve as deterrent to other people that may want to take the nation by, you know, like that. So what actually is going on in this nation to come out to say that there are a few select individuals? That means these people are known and nothing is being done, to prosecute them.
Thank you. Yes, certainly the government, both the previous one, the outgone government of Buhari, and this present one, and even the other governments that have come and gone, they know what is happening in Nigeria. They know the individuals. The fuel subsidy thing we are talking about is a big fraud. And they know the people. If there have been governments over the years have been giving money to people as subsidy, the government knows those people. And these are the people I think the president was referring to. Instead of going to increase the pump price of petrol, what President Tinubu could have done was to at least arrest or invite those few individuals that are sapping the economy of this country. Those people should be invited, of which I know that Tinubu is one of them. They should be invited to ask them, what happened? You've been collecting this money in the name of subsidy that never existed, and from there, they will be made to pay back that money. If not, in one fell swoop, it could be installmental. But those people have to be challenged for Nigeria to move forward. Those money that those people, either that was given to them by the government or money stolen by them, should be returned, because Nigeria is in a state of quagmire. We are not. It's a terrible situation, and nobody will be telling us if we individuals we do this and do that. When we know them, we have to go for them. Let them bring back the money. If they bring back the money, this price of fuel that was increased wouldn't be there, because everything in Nigeria, has just gone up. Everything is in a mess. He talked about inflation, but inflation keeps moving up. So those people have to come and answer answer some questions about the fuel subsidy thing, which never existed. That's exactly what I'm saying. They have to come and answer for it. And the president the president knows them. The executive knows them. They should be called upon to come and answer, and not increasing the pump price of fuel in the name of removal of fuel subsidy, which never existed.
Okay, because we are still talking about the issue of fuel subsidy and people that were, eating the money, let me put it that way, or squandering the money personally. Now, in all that our president said on that 31st, the major contention by Nigerian masses is that he never talked about our refineries, rebuilding the refineries. And even the refinery that we were told is owned by Dangote, that was supposed to start work by June, end of June. That was what we are told before the last government that left the seat, which never happened. We are in August. Today is August 3rd, and that refinery is not working. It has not started work. And even there is the story, after a few weeks after the inauguration of that refinery, the Dangote himself got a certificate to import products. And Nigerians were like, this is something you inaugurated and told us it to begin work on June, but it never started. And the same person collected certificate to start importation. And one begins to wonder, so what do you think happened that the president could not mention about the refinery? It was just yesterday and this morning in the papers that we are seeing, maybe because of the criticism that has come up after the speech, that it's in the paper today that is going to Port Harcourt refinery is going to begin work by December. So what do you have to say about that? That of everything that is happening. Nigerians have been crying. Let our refineries be put back to shape, so we can get our oil refined here, we can get it at a cheaper rate, we can get it surplus, and the prices will come crashing down to ameliorate the sufferings of Nigerians. So what do you think happened that the president did not mention that in his speech on the 31st of July?
Thank you very much. Yes, that is one of the things the president did not mention. But let me go to the refinery issues first. I think the Dangote refinery, like you said, they said it was supposed to start work this year, 2023.
June.
But as I'm talking to you, they are now saying that Dangote is going to, the refinery is going to start by, I think, 2025. It's no more starting this year. It's no more starting next year. It's going to start operations by 2025. So that is it's a terrible thing. And to put all these other refineries to work, I don't know what, it's because they are eating the money, they call this a subsidy or subsidy money. That's why they have refused to put the the Port Harcourt refinery into place. You have the Warri refinery, you have the Kaduna refinery. If these three refineries are working, you see that the prices of these petroleum products will just come down. Because Dangote, they wanted to, just as he is monopolizing the other sectors, manufacturing and the building materials manufacturing, food products and all that, they want him to go into importation of fuel so that he might push out so many other people. And I think it's a kind of most of the government officials are behind him. It's not that it's Dangote, because he's not getting his money from the, he's just not digging them from the ground.
All right, you hold it. We take a short break here. Let's put one-on-one together. The program returns shortly. Please do stay.
Anambra Broadcasting Service, ABS. With delight, we bring you the light that we bear through our illustrious leaders. Our icons. Our industrious people. Our rich culture. Our places of pride. And our mouth-watering cuisine. With unbridled professionalism and renewed tenacity, we serve you real-time news, information, entertainment of varied genres with unfettered reach of your clients and customers. AB. Great news for Anambra Broadcasting Service ABS audience. You can now watch ABS television through any of these ways.
Buy a terrestrial antenna and connect to your television. Search ABS Channel 24 Oka or ABS Channel 27 Onitsha. Install StarTimes cable decoder and search ABS Channel 113. Install Metro Digital cable decoder and search ABS Channel 29.
Watch ABS TV on your smart TV or smartphone by downloading Anambra Broadcasting Service app on Google Play Store. Also watch via ABS Facebook page at ABS Radio Television and ABS YouTube page at ABS Television Oka.
ABS TV is now also on satellite. You can watch us from anywhere in Nigeria and other African countries. Simply install ViewSat TV decoder or any other free-to-air decoder and tune into channel 0031.
Whichever option you choose, stay abreast of breaking news, documentaries, children's shows, talk shows, comedy, sports, movies, and lots more on your darling TV station.
For adverts and program sponsorship, sponsorship. Contact 0803-388-8526 or 0806-883-9902. ABS, Heartbeat of the East.
Our second guest has joined us in the studio this morning, Ebuka Onyekwelo, a columnist, blogger, and public affairs analyst. Good to have you in the studio, Ebuka.
Good to see you too. Good morning. Good
All
morning,
right,
Nigerians.
and I'm sorry for what you've seen in the hands of Atma this morning, but it's all for good. All right. We were looking at, the speech made by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the 31st day of July, 2023. And we know that there will always be criticism. That's why life is, the way it is. People must criticize everything, and it's for good, because when they criticize you, you sit up and do what you ought to do. So Nigerians have seen that there are some lapses in that speech made by the president. Some people saw it as the president just made the speech to see if he can deter the NLC and the workers that are planning on a protest and strike yesterday. And of course, some people said that there is something that is very important that he left out in that speech, which is our refineries. And that's what Odimodo is actually saying before you're coming, Ebuka. Odimodo, now I think you need to continue and land before Ebuka steps in. All right.
Thank you very much. Yes, I was saying that our refineries, if they are working, you see that the prices of petroleum products will come down. Because the crude oil is from here, So with the refinery, and they have been working over the years. It is this, this government, maybe the past government and maybe from Jonathan administration, that's when we started hearing of refineries not working to optimum. The other one, during the Buhari administration, the the refinery, all of them grounded. And even when the Chinese were brought to repair the refineries, after doing all the magic they did there, the refinery refused to work. So when these refineries are put in place, which they're supposed to be put in place, and that is what I was saying, that the president is supposed to be telling us about facts and figures and not about stories. If he had told us these refineries will come to work, maybe the Port Harcourt refinery will start by maybe September, the other one Wari will start by December, Kaduna by this other time, it gives us hope. But when you don't say anything about that, it means that it is a fight to finish, that we are still nowhere. So these are the things we want to hear. And when these refineries are put in place, you will see that it is not only the price of petrol that will come down, the AGO, that's the diesel, that is up to 700, 800 naira per liter, will equally come down. Kerosene will come down. Every other things associated with the petroleum products in Nigeria will come down. And there is a lot of patronage in Nigeria. Over 100 people are using vehicles. People are using generators in their various offices that consume all these petroleum products. So the market is here in Nigeria, that you won't be running into any loss. At worst, if you can even export to places like Niger Republic, you can export to some other countries in West Africa, and still the world, they can buy. Many other countries will buy. So when this is done, petroleum products prices will come down. And once it comes down, you see that Nigerians, won't be feeling this hardship. Because for all these prices of 500, 600 naira per liter of petrol, 700 or 800 naira per liter of diesel. Kerosene is up to that 800 naira as well. So all these things, there is nothing, basically there is no improvement. Nobody should be looking at any improvement, looking at anything, if the prices of these things, these products don't come down. Because the impact on transportation.
All right, all right.
Okay.
You hold it. You'll still come back
Thank
to you. You know, like I said earlier, that it seems the criticism by Nigerians, you know, it's really. I think this government is like government that hears what people say immediately. But and then another thing is, you know, putting it to work, because the Nigerian people were criticizing that it didn't say anything concerning our refineries. Now in the news this morning, it said that Port Harcourt refinery will begin work December. This is one thing to say something, another thing to implement it. So, and Nigerians are no longer interested in speeches or in talking. They want to see results. They want to see things work out for them. Now, what do you think, Ibuka, that Nigerians criticize this, and today it's in the paper that the refinery of Port Harcourt will start work December. So what do you think is going on?
Okay, well, you know, I think so far the impression by the president is that he is going to, or he is willing, or rather running an open government in which opposition or dissenting voices are also factored within the policy framework of the government. This to the extent that if you observe, you see that initially the government said there was going to be cash transfers of 8,000 for 8,000 naira for about a couple of months. You know, it didn't mellow down; it was struck off entirely. Yes, you know. So because when you look at that, even some of us argued that you can't be talking about transiting to a free market and also talking about giving cash to people, to individuals. You know, the money you are giving, you know, is not sustainable, and it doesn't point to anything sustainable. After the period that you've done these cash transfers, what next? You know, so it's better to aggregate the fund and see how far maybe you can use the money to invest in some kind of venture capital, or see how maybe you can use the money to implement some kind of scholarship or some kind of health benefit for workers, etc. And also, what we see, or what we saw from the president's speech or address to Nigerians, is a kind of you know, an aggregation of the programs that the government intends to undertake to cushion the impact of our transition to a free market. You know, even the Economist paper, you know, reported, I think 2 days ago, that the president, the current president, has, you know, taken Nigeria further into the free market world than Nigeria has ever attempted to. You know, so when you look at these things, you see we are essentially in pursuit of efficiency and effectiveness, and we have to do that through a sort of private sector, kind of private sector mentality. It has to be driven in kind of private sector with private sector mechanisms. So, and that is essentially what the free market is all about. You know, so now when we look in detail to see what the president has done, has said actually, you know, because what he said is now what we are going to begin to use to measure the government. And he put time frame in many of the programs. For instance, he said the government will spend 100 billion to procure compressed natural gas buses, CNG buses, that will be distributed to states and local governments across the federation. So now the implication is, and he also said that this will happen between now and March 2024. So what Nigerians need to do is to note that down and then begin to observe. And he also said that these buses will not be managed by the government across the states and local governments, that the government is going to work with bus services providers, transport companies, who the government will leave these CNG vehicles under their care to manage. And I mean, there are clear, terms and conditions for that. So you see, that's a departure from the situation in the past where government tried to manage some of these things by themselves, and it ended up not being as effective.
Let me cut in there. You will agree with me that the president a few days ago increased school fees of federal schools. And again, it's somebody that have paid fees that will go to school, and when you go to school, you can use the buses.
Let me say this.
So there are a lot of mix of mix up or something.
Not quite precisely. Because the president, it is not within his. He can or he might intervene to say that the increment in school fees should.
He has even asked them yesterday. He has asked universities yesterday to stall the increment in the universities.
Exactly. So
he said it yesterday. I don't know, where are we even going? Because some of these schools, you will agree, we're in Nigeria. Some of these schools will go ahead and take those fees because it's been said initially. So these ones is saying now, how is he going to make sure that they don't go ahead to implement them?
We have the National University Commission in Nigeria that manages the affairs of Nigerian universities. So that is the standard. So the president, as the chief executive, can only intervene in terms of using his influence, power, to talk to the NUC and say, ensure that this thing or this policy is put on hold for now. So if the president has done that, just like you said, that is the much he can intervene. And I want to believe that that instruction has to be complied with because he's the chief executive. So, but that aside, it is not exactly within the direct purview of the president to increase, school fees. In fact, while I was doing my first degree in the University of Calabar. My first year, and this was in 2006, I didn't pay up to 30,000. In fact, it was when I came back here, I started hearing of what they call acceptance fee. That was strange. While I was in Calabar, there was no acceptance fee. I paid school tuition fee and all other fees, took about 25,000. Then I paid for the school accommodation, I think 11,000 or so.
I even paid 1,800.
Maybe that was some years ago. My experience was
90.
In the 90s.
It's in 90s, 98, 97.
So mine was in 2006.
It's still the same 90 and 20.
But now you see, but when I was doing masters in UNIZIC, I paid the acceptance fee, but that was not even the case. The school fees was suddenly reviewed from 60,000 for returning students to 3,500 naira. Now this was in 2014. So now the implication, and there was, you are looking to see if there is any basis for this sort of increment, and you are not convinced. You are not seeing it. So that is a problem that I think that has to be addressed. Now there's something else the president said, which is also related to what we're just talking about now. The president talked about increment in salary, but we have a situation in Nigeria where even the minimum wage of 30,000 naira has not been complied with.
So many states have not been able to pay that.
Many states are more or less insolvent. They're not able to even pay salary. They're not even able to pay anything, not to talk of complying with the minimum wage. And you are talking about increment. So I think there has to be some careful evaluation of some of these policies. Because like the case in the increment of school fees, where you are not seeing a commensurate improvement in the system and you are paying more. Now, if the system has not been able to respond to the old payment structure, why talk about the increment when the old structure has not been duly and fully complied?
Okay. Now let's look at another thing that the president said, which was part of what he did immediately he entered office. The issue about foreign exchange. We know that it is now flat with the black market and the banks and whatnot. And instead of going down, it is still going up. He said, let me quote him here. I had promised to reform the economy for the long-term good by fighting the major imbalances that had plagued our economy. Ending the subsidy and the preferential exchange rate system were key to this fight. The fight is to define the fate and future of our nation. Much is in the balance. So, coming to the issue of forex, we see that it is still going up. So what happens?
You see, that's why, like I said earlier, what the president has done is to trigger or to try to jumpstart Nigeria into the free market world. And so 2 major decisions he took to that signals what the president intends to do. One, removal of fuel subsidy, which, in itself can be argued was not actually removed by the president, for 2 reasons. Number one, we have the budget that ends, that terminates fuel subsidy, in June 2023. Although the president can actually resolve that with a supplementary or revised budget, but he didn't do that. Okay, but that's a matter of law. Now, there is also the PIB, the Petroleum Industrial Bill, which is, of course, the PIA or Petroleum Industrial Act or law, which has more or less empowered the government to remove the subsidy and also, more or less also made the subsidy regime illegal in Nigeria. So these were the frameworks that were already at play before the president's inauguration. So that's the basis. So we can comfortably or conveniently argue that the subsidy was not actually in itself removed by the president. He was just, though he can also remedy, like I said before, through the supplementary or revised budget system. But that's by the way. Now, but by sticking to the removal of fuel subsidy, it signals a transition to the market economy. And also by removing the dollar subsidy, because what actually happens with the dollar exchange rate is that the government subsidizes.
Not just dollars.
The foreign exchange, yeah. The foreign exchange is that the government, especially the dollar, okay. The government subsidizes the dollar exchange with our foreign reserves. The government subsidizes this dollar with our foreign reserves, so that while instead of paying the full amount, we pay lesser.
So why is it still going up instead
of coming down? No, because it is
down?
Free. When you talk about free market, it means forces of demand and supply, regulating the price. No more government coming to say that this must go at this rate. You now leave it. So if there are if the more demand on the item,
that means it will still go up.
No,
okay.
it is flat. It might still go up. It might still come down. So that's
okay. Probability there.
Yes.
All right. Now, Odumodu, initially when we started, there is how you described the president's speech. Now, I want to ask you, is there nothing good you found in that speech, and why? Let me know if there is any important thing you saw or you had in that speech, and how is it all about? Let me. You can't say that there is nothing. All the speech, like they numbered it here, is more than
good agriculture.
It's more than 20 items.
Okay, the president said he was going to invest about 75 billion in agriculture.
Yes, it's more than 30.
So many of them, yes.
Yes, it's more than 30.
75 billion in SM.
Foreign policy, monetary policy, and so on and so on. Fuel subsidy. Yes. One thing is certain. Completely, I will not say that what a president has come out to do was a waste of time, But to a large extent, that's the problem with most African leaders. When they go into office, and these are like Tinubu is somebody that has prepared, he has been preparing to be in this office. Even telling us that it's a Miloko,
It's his turn.
it is his turn. He has been there that this is his turn, a Miloko. So he could have prepared himself very, very well. That from the first day, first week, and first month, Nigerians will be seeing a lot of, good things coming out of the government. Instead of, putting us into a lot of hardship. Because what he has done is to just throw the Nigerian public into hardship. There is no breathing space anywhere. He talked about removing the so-called fuel subsidy, which I have always maintained that it is a fraud because we don't have statistics of what happened or what has happened with what they call fuel subsidy. He came in and said fuel subsidy removed. And the price of petrol jumped up to about 400 and something naira per liter.
More than 100%.
That's fine. After 2-3 weeks, it jumped up to 600 and about 600 and something naira per liter. That is a very big hardship on the people. And again, he liberalized the foreign exchange. From there, the foreign exchange rate had to shoot up. So all these things are affecting the economy. All these things are affecting the masses. So it's not that I don't see anything good, but almost all the things he said doesn't have much, ingredients. It has not impacted. If you want to do it, you say it, and let us see the impact on the people. Let us see where the people are, are enjoying, ameliorating the sufferings of the workers. You've done all these things, and because it is hitting on the public and the workers, they say no, we can't continue with all this. We have to go on strike. They have tried it originally, and they went into negotiation. After the negotiation failed, they have to start strike as at yesterday. And let me tell you, more, about the situation. Let us look at Nigeria today, where we said the president has made a speech, and maybe we are getting something good out of it. If the pump prices of all these petroleum products are high, there's nothing, the transportation has skyrocketed. For you to move from one location now to the other, the person will pay through his or her nose. And some people are trekking. Imagine the capital or cities where we are, the way it is that people trek. Imagine when you go to the villages, you see that people trek as high as 20, 30 miles to and fro to go and do one thing or the other. So,
all right. For want of time, I will cut you short here, please. Okay. Let's take to the street to feel the pulse of the masses. The program returns after now. Please do join us again.
Great news for Anambra Broadcasting Service ABS audience. You can now watch ABS television through any of these ways.
Buy a terrestrial antenna and connect to your television. Search ABS Channel 24 Oka or ABS Channel 27 Onitsha. Install StarTimes cable decoder and search ABS Channel 113. Install Metro Digital cable decoder and search ABS Channel 29.
Watch ABS TV on your smart TV or smartphone by downloading Anambra Broadcasting Service app on Google Play Store. Also watch via ABS Facebook page at ABS Radio Television and ABS YouTube page at ABS Television Oka.
ABS TV is now also on satellite. You can watch us from anywhere in Nigeria and other African countries. Simply install ViewSat TV decoder or any other free-to-air decoder and tune into channel 0031.
Whichever option you choose, stay abreast of breaking news, documentaries, children's shows, talk shows, comedy, sports, movies, and lots more on your darling TV station.
For adverts and programs sponsorship, contact 0803 388 8526 or 0806 883 9902. ABS, Heartbeat of the East.
Welcome back to the studios. Apologies for the mix-up. We're sorry we don't have the views from the street for now. Let's continue. Odumodu, you were saying something concerning the state of the nation.
Thank you. Yes, I was saying. I was saying that, you know, a government cannot inflict injuries to the public and the workers from every part of the sector, because no sector of this economy now, the people are not breathing. People are suffering from every angle, which I have just mentioned before. You know, from petroleum product prices, people are suffering. Transportation, people are suffering. Exchange rate, Nigerians are suffering, because the exchange rate we are talking about, once it goes up, it will affect the prices of commodities in the country locally. You know, whether it is a farm produce, whether it is imported, because if it touches one, it will touch the other ones. The major area that is transportation could have cushioned the effect on transportation. Why is doing all these things? So that people won't be trekking from 20 miles, 30 miles to and fro. So, and everywhere in the world, transportation is subsidized. Many areas are subsidized. Government cannot tell us. That is why if you go to America, UK, and some other developed world, you see how much they pay on transportation. It's very meager. They have the railway everywhere. Then you look at food. Food is even subsidized. If you go to like the foreign nations I've mentioned and others, you go to buy food, you begin to wonder, is this really the price of this product? Because almost everything is subsidized by government, because government is making the money. They are having the money. They are collecting the money. They are keeping it. So it's not the individual. If you want to suffocate the individual, that is why most of these governments, that's why you are having all these queues here and there, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, and so many other places. And if you are looking at the news and all that, you see the military telling people to go do this and do that we can't continue going this way.
All right, Ebuka, sorry, I'm cutting it short. Ebuka, over the years, Nigeria is known for beautiful policies, beautiful speeches. And one thing is making a speech or making an address to the people. Another thing is its implementation. So from here, what next?
Well,
he said earlier that Nigerians should watch because he gave timeline, from now to now.
That's how to actually follow government policies. That's how to openly, so that it's not as if you are preempting government or you are expecting the government to falter. So you have to be fair when you are assessing people, when you are assessing government, when you are, looking at policies of government. That's how to be able to, arrive at the truth. So having said that, what I expect is for the government to, to move into action. And one thing, of course, one of the major things that impressed me with the president's speech is the departure from the regular, free money that government, distribute amongst people without any clear room, without any clear, basis, because it gives leaves a lot of rooms for corruption, for embezzlement. So that has already been put to an end. So if you see what the president said clearly, all the transactions will be taking place through the banking system, and he defined some of the processes. In the distribution of buses, he said to be manned by transport companies. In terms of agriculture, he said farms. So there are people who are doing. I've been arguing for years, even as a person at individual level. If you want to give someone support, it is not enough to hand them money, to give them money. It is not enough. You can fund their businesses. You can fund their ideas. Don't throw money away. Don't just hand money over to people for no reason. Fund their businesses, fund their ideas. That's how to build something that is sustainable. So I think that reflected in the president's speech, and I am impressed about that. So what is next now is for us to begin to count. The president said from now till March, almost all the policies, he said from now till March, they are implementing from now till March. So what Nigerians should do is to begin to monitor the timeline, begin to follow through, so that you hold government accountable by its policies and programs, and not by your own feeling or by how you are expecting the government to do this or not to do this, but by its own programs.
And now who is going to hold them accountable when most times they shy away from the media?
No, Nigerians, you don't necessarily have to wait for the government to come to the media before you begin to. In fact, there are so many ways to even impact a bigger change than scandalizing government. As an individual, there are so many ways. You can write an email, you can write a letter, you can do so many things. You can write to your senator, you can write to your House of Reps member, you can write to the presidency. There are so many ways to make an impact without coming out to look as if you are trying to...
Anyway, it's a beautiful idea, but Ebuka, I don't know how many people know about what you're saying.
What I'm saying, but
about writing.
That's why, if we are intending to build, for our government, or for us to enjoy a working government.
Because this accountability is what is very, very important.
The implications
to help in checkmating the activities of government.
If the government, the basis for giving any individual mandate on behalf of the government or the people or the state is through this assessment. It is through this assessment. So when the government is not responsive, if your senator or your House of Reps member or your House of Assembly member is not responsive to the ideas or to the problems or to the programs that
can we call the person back? Can we call the person back if he's not responsive?
No, we have to be real. The process of recalling a lawmaker is rigorous and complex.
Okay.
So it's practically
our time is fast spent. What's the way forward? Quickly, before we go. Yeah, the way forward. What do you think should be done? One thing is the speeches have been made. What next?
Okay, by the mode. The way for you want me to respond?
Yes, no.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking. Okay. Talking with Ebuka. Yes, the way forward is for the government to be sensitive, and being sensitive is that they have to look at where all the problems are and remove all these bottlenecks. Pump price of petroleum products, I keep saying it, must be reviewed downwards. The people that ate our money in the guise of a subsidy, should be, arrested and questioned. It's not to be suffering people, people, they are just, the government is suffocating people. Once these things are not done, I tell you, and note it today, we are not going anywhere. Nigerians are not going anywhere.
Okay, we can go on and on, but actually, this is where we are wrapping up the show for this morning. Nigerians are waiting. Nigerians are really, everybody is feeling it. Everybody is feeling it. I believe that they are humans, those in positions of authority. Let something be done quickly. For Nigerians, mental health is real and something is already happening. Thank you so much, Ichie Mike Odumodu, for being here this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Noye.
Thank you so much, Ebuka, for your time this morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, my name is Nonya Mwokoye. Thank you so much for your time. Till some other time. Bye for now.